Hello and welcome to my video. Today I will be showing you a PC I built mainly for use with Photoshop and for browsing the web and using other light applications. I built two of these PCs and they have basically the exact same configuration, which is why these pictures show two of everything. I was told that this PC would be used mainly for Photoshop without GPU accelerated tasks, so I opted not to add a graphics card. I built this computer with a 750 watt power supply from Gigabyte, a Core i7-9700, Western Digital 500 GB Blue M2 SSD, 32 GB of DDR4 RAM, the ASRock Phantom Gaming 4 Z390 motherboard, and I housed it all in the Deepcool Tesseract. Now I really enjoyed working with the Deepcool Tesseract. I describe it as no frills. Now one problem I ran into with the motherboard was the BIOS. When I first booted up this PC, I kept getting stuck on a loading screen for Windows, or the computer would crash soon after booting into Windows. I eventually realized that this was because the BIOS was not compatible with the latest i7 chip, although there was a sticker on the box saying that it was compatible with 9th gen processors. I had to manually flash BIOS to allow it to work properly. Now I made a few mistakes while building this PC. First of all, I put the motherboard into the case before putting the CPU in, which is kind of a stupid thing to do because you have to work around the case while you're getting the CPU and the cooler in there. Another thing that I messed up was I screwed the cooler in too tight and it looked like some pins might have been bent on the motherboard, but the computer ended up working just fine. Now on to benchmarking. Since this computer didn't have a graphics card, I was eager to find out just how far Intel integrated graphics could go in 2020. I have left a verdict after each title, giving my subjective opinion on how well the game plays on this PC, on a scale from pathetic to fantastic. Before you look at these benchmarks, please note that I used OBS to record these, so a lot of the benchmarks ended up looking like a slideshow, and note that I tried to take figures for the frames per second and 1% lows that best represented the kind of gameplay you'd expect to encounter in these titles. using only the integrated GPU, I was pleasantly surprised that certain games were actually playable. However, I would not recommend this PC for gaming as it currently is configured. A few closing remarks. Again, the use case for this PC was mainly Photoshop and everyday web browsing and office tasks. If I were to look at upgrading this PC in the future, I would probably consider adding a GPU, which I have done to the other PC I built. Now, I did build two PCs here with the exact same specifications, and I added a GPU to one later, so you can see how that computer did in my next video. Thank you all for watching. If you like this content, please consider subscribing and hit the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when I release a new video.